Hello, 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 sellers. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Come on in. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. What I'm going to talk about today is something that I just see so many sellers doing this. It is a top, top mistake that eBay sellers make. Top mistake. I'm doing this as my props that eBay sellers make. Top selling mistake that eBay sellers make. And I am going to show you how to avoid it so that you don't do it. So come on in and let's talk about it because it's important. I'm actually going to make this. I love using tape as a bracelet, by the way. That's fun. Anyway, so let's avoid this one. And this is a mistake that I see our newer sellers make and more advanced sellers. And it is a mistake that I have made. So I am raising my hand on this. And I don't want you making it because it is something that can be avoided. But you have to stay on top of it because you'll get good about this. And then you start to sneak back into making this mistake. And don't do that. So this is, and here we have my eBay tape. This is it upside down? Yes. Here it is. Actually, we'll do this right. My crown. Oh no, because of the green screen thing. So this is the top eBay selling mistake that sellers make. Okay. First of all, let me know what you think it is. And those of you that join me on Facebook, thank you so much. On my business page, I love to be selling. Thank you. And those of you that watch me on YouTube, thank you, thank you. I'm checking my mic. Yes, good. And those of you that download my podcast, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. Thank you. I so appreciate it. It's the number one mistake that sellers make. And comment below if you have ideas. I'll give you a second or two to do that. And then I will tell you what it is. It's probably going to surprise you. I bet it is. Number one mistake that sellers make, not saying no. Not saying no. And this is why. Because there's a lot involved in selling on eBay. My new sellers, this is not to discourage you because you can absolutely sell and sell very successfully. And do follow me and do listen to my YouTubes because I have lots of tips for you. But this is why not saying no is the number one mistake that people make. Because think about it. As sellers, what do? We source inventory. Now, for my newer sellers, the way you're sourcing is you're cleaning out your closets and your cabinets and even more experienced. I just did this recently, by the way, and sold a bunch of things just from around my home. And that included, I was selling some plates that I don't use anymore. I sold a shoehorn, a couple of remotes. Remotes are always my favorite. And the remotes in our house seem to reproduce. But again, cleaning your cabinets, cleaning your closets, going through your drawers. We have underbed storage, going in the underbed storage. And letting go of things is a great way to source when you're new. But we're sourcing. And those of us that are sourcing professionally or we're buying things to resell, you're in thrift stores. You're in retail stores. You're a consignment seller. You're going to flea markets. Okay. You're going to rummage sales. It's taking time. So it's time in sourcing. Then it's time in listing. You're taking pictures. You're researching, what should I be charging for this? Okay, that's really important. Sellers can overcharge. I actually was working with a seller on this just the other week. Kathy, why isn't this selling? I said, I will come in and take a look. I love working with my seller friends. Looked at it, and I went to product research, very helpful tool that eBay gives all sellers for free. It used to be called Therapy, and it's on mobile as well as desktop. Thank you, eBay. And I just said, let me just check. And listen, when you're running solds using the product research tool, if I remember correctly, the default is 90 days. Typically, you're going to have to kick back further than that. If it's an Apple Watch, it'll come right up. But typically for, like collectibles and ornaments and things like that, you may have to go back a bit. Anyway, for this item, I believe I went back 2 years, and you can go back 3 years. So why not? Just click it, go back 3 years. And when it sold, the exact same thing as my seller, it had sold $10 less. So I asked the person, because again, I don't know what they paid for it. I don't know how long the listing's been up. And I just said, this one is sold. It's exactly what you have listed. Can you come down in price? And we also looked at the sold listing for some ideas for the title and other parts of the listing. And they said, yeah, they could because of what they paid for it. You know what? They revised it. They revised the title. and using the title for the one that has sold. And you know that item sold in 24 hours? It sold in 24 hours. And it had been sitting there for quite some time. Okay. So it takes time to list. It takes time to source. It takes time to research. It takes time to take pictures. And then, yay, like my friend, you get the sale. It takes time to ship. You know, it's got to go into a poly mailer. It's got to go into a box. The shipping could take time, depends on what your setup is. Okay. A lot of my seller friends, their person that comes to their home to drop off the mail or to their office, they take their shipping with them to work, you know, because they have a part-time job or a full-time job. They're able to get the pickup that way. Other people, they arrange on the USPS website for the mail to be picked up, and they have a secure location where they are packing and shipping to do that. Okay. Here in New York City, the problem with having the mail picked up, which I can order, I've done it, is they come very late in the day. They tend to come like around 5:36. So it will scan, but it actually doesn't start to move until the next day. And what we have found, my husband helps me with the mail, is if we take it to our local post office, which is like about a 10, 15-minute walk, it goes out the same day. For instance, today I dropped off the mail around 1 o'clock. It's already in the system scanned and moving to the sorting area. So here in New York, they pull from the post offices and it goes to New Jersey. There's a hub in Jersey. And then from New Jersey, then it goes out. Okay. So, but this all takes time. It's very unlikely that you're sourcing, unless you're just opening a closet, that you're sourcing, listing, researching, taking pictures, shipping all in one day. And that's why I say is to learn to say no. Okay. So I took the mail out. I dropped the mail. I ran some personal errands, right? As sellers, we have a personal life, right? There's things like food shopping, time with friends, appointments you may have, you know, doctor's appointments. For me, going to the hairdresser, getting my hair cut. But we have personal appointments. We want to see our friends. We want to see family. Again, being in New York City, one of the fun things about the holiday season, and I'm filming this in November, is I have a lot of high school and college friends come through New York at the holidays, and I get to spend time with them. But this is all choices. I cannot do everything every day. We can have a lot of wonderful things in our lives and be very successful eBay sellers. But unless you want to work 16, 18-hour days, and I don't want you doing that, you cannot do everything every day, or you will get very, very tired and you will get burnt out. And it's something that we as a seller community don't talk about enough, which is our physical and mental well-being. Okay. And a lot of that is learning to say no. Actually went by a store and I was really tempted. I'm like, I might go in and check it out because, you know, the Black Friday sales have already started in New York. And I'm like, no, I wanted to get the mail dropped. I wanted to get to the gym. I wanted to get to the gym today and do like a half an hour workout. Then I knew I was going to be live streaming. Then I'm going to need to edit my video, put it up, and then perhaps do a couple of listings and then be done, because then I'm going to go spend time with my husband and have family time. So it's learning to say no, right? You might be outsourcing. So it's like, yay, I am going to go outsourcing, but I've set aside this amount of time for sourcing. I'm going to source today for 4 hours or 6 hours. Again, so the one store might take a lot of time. That's all my sourcing time. So then I don't do the other stores I was thinking about, right? Unless I go, no, you know what? I can extend. And there are those things later in the day that I can cut short. Okay. But think about the components in your life and learning to say no, because you want to have boundaries and you want to have margin. Again, this is something we do not discuss, and it needs to be discussed, because you want time for the things that matter most to you. Yes, you absolutely need and want the income from eBay. That's why you're selling. And some sellers are selling on eBay. Honestly, it's a decluttering thing, so they're glad for the money, but it's more they want to find nice homes for the things that are in their home. Yay. And other people, I have another friend who's a single mom, and she needs the money from the eBay selling. It helps pay the bills for her and her family. So she needs the sales. She needs the listing. She needs the shipping. But you want to do it in a way where you're not up until 2 and 3 in the morning and you're exhausted, right? And then you have, you're getting sick. You're not sleeping well, right? Just because there's too much going on. So it's that thing of learning to say no. No, I can hit 2 stores. I don't need to hit 3. I can get 3 listings up today. I don't need to get 5 up. I got 5 listings up. I don't need to get 8. No, I don't need to push myself. I can say no and stop and then go and do what I need to do, have a nice lunch, go for a walk, right? Take my little puppy out for a walk, enjoy cuddling my cat, going next door and visiting my girlfriend for 15, 20 minutes, having a lunch with my spouse who's home, or Zooming with a family member who I miss and I want to spend time with, and then going back to the listing and the shipping and the shopping. I mention this because sometimes you'll see, I was actually talking about this with a friend, because I've been selling for a while. I've been selling for over 15 years. And we were talking, and it's like, I remember certain sellers, and it goes on all the time, right? You'll see a seller and you'll see them post a lot. Perhaps they're showcased by eBay or another platform. You're like, oh, this person's fabulous. And then you turn around and a year later, they're gone. They're gone. Sadly, I see this happen with some of the sites that have a lot of live selling. And I did live selling. I did it for 6 years on QVC, so I'm very experienced with live selling. And again, if you're doing it and you're loving it, go for it. Just watch your time. Watch your time, because it takes a lot of preparation, which people don't always talk about. And when I did live selling, I was on QVC. I had a crew. I had somebody who helped me with the physical setup. I had a camera crew. I had hair and makeup. I miss that. So I'm just saying is, you don't always get the whole picture. Okay. So you just need to know the whole picture. Dear friend of mine, Linda, who's Linda Stuff. Now they have, get this, 18,000 listings. Oh my goodness. But I love chatting with her. She has a warehouse. She has a staff. She has a customer service team. Now she's very engaged. She works very hard. But she has time with her son and with her grandkids. Okay. Works hard. But there's no way you have that level of business without a staff. And she grew it. She started, again, just odds and ends, and grew and grew and grew. And that's another thing is, while we're busy saying no, so that we focus on what's important. Like today's going to be my listing day. So I'm not going to go out shopping. Okay. Today's my listing day. So when I go and drop the mail, if I'm dropping the mail, I'm going to really watch the clock, make sure I drop it, say hello to my mail friends. And I mean mail friends as in my mail people, the people at the post office, the mail people, and get home, right? I'm going to make sure I get home because I need to get busy listing. Okay. But learn what you need to say no to. Okay. That frees you up. I wake up in the morning. I do my prayers and meditation. I come into my eBay room. I have an eBay room. What's my primary focus today? Today was getting the weekend mail out. Monday is get the weekend mail out. And I do my best to get up at least one listing. Okay. But it's in drafts. It's in drafts from when I was prepping listings, either Friday or Saturday. I take Sunday off. So then it's ready to go. Okay. I did some odds and ends of paperwork, emails that I needed to do, really watching the clock because I wanted to get out the door, get to the post office. Again, I said hello to the people that work at the post office. I had things hand scanned because there wasn't a line. And you can do that with the bulk scan list, by the way, which you can get with eBay shipping. Or I could just because I like to chat with them and see how they're doing. Chat with my postal folks. How's the weekend? How's everything going? They give me tips sometimes too, which is fun to know if something's going on. We talk about how much sales volume is there this year. Are you noticing more packages? I like to know stuff like that. Do you see an increase in mail? Is it less mail? Because the post office I go to does a lot of small businesses. So it sort of lets me know how stuff is going. Then I ran to the gym. Didn't run. I walked very quickly. Grabbed a cup of tea. It's actually my peppermint tea. Again, at my local little tea shop, talk to the tea people, how everything is going. They let me know too, trends. I chat with my tea people like, okay, you guys, what are you buying for the holidays? And got home and do this. I will probably do a little bit more paperwork because I'm beta testing something for eBay. And then enjoy dinner with my husband. I have a chicken cutlet that's marinating. What did I not do today? I didn't source. Okay. I did a little bit of social media today. I didn't do a lot of social media today. I'll do more later in the week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. What can you say no to? What can you say no to? So it gives you the time to say yes. What really matters to you today? This might be your photographing day. This might be your research day. And I really, really, really encourage you. Now, when you're newer, stuff like research is going to take more time and listing is going to take more time. Watch the clock. Okay. You think the research is taking 5 minutes, it's taking you half an hour. Really watch it. Okay. Sometimes you could just, and some of the research is really fascinating. I mean, sometimes you're researching things and you're like, this is so interesting. Just what, again, that's fine. If it's something that you really enjoy. I have one friend who loves vintage ephemera. So again, a little, this is something that's pleasurable. So if it's taking maybe 15, 20 minutes more than you were originally anticipating, but it's something that gives you pleasure, that's great. But if you're using it to procrastinate, which is like, oh, I love the research, I hate the listing part, watch it on that. Because yes, the research is fascinating. Yes, this is super fun, or perhaps you love taking pictures. But just keep an eye on making sure that you get the listings up, because if remember, it's not listed, it can't sell. And then the other thing is that when you're working on listings, again, my newer sellers or more experienced, and I will fall victim to this, don't overdo it. If it's a $19.99 item, don't be sitting there and I call it ditzing, but don't be sitting there and tweaking and playing with the pictures for 15 minutes. It's a $20 item, right? Do you have 4 or 5 pictures up? Do they look good? Are they in focus? Are they cropped? Can the person tell what the item is? Nice title, good item specifics, good. List it, move on. All right. List it and move on. I'm looking forward to this bulk listing tool that eBay's announced. They did it at the seller check-in and at the winter update. I got to keep my updates straight. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. You can upload a bunch of pictures. eBay creates a listing. Will there be a learning curve? Of course there'll be a learning curve. But if I can upload like half a dozen or a dozen mugs, I plan to do it with like things. To me, that makes sense with the bulk listing tool from Pictures. Right now it's only on sporting cards. Those are, and I've sold some sporting cards, by the way. So if you guys have questions on that, certainly message me. You're welcome to do that. And one of them went through authenticity. So I did the authenticity guarantee. Went great. If you're uploading a sporting card, think about this. And I'm thinking of things with barcodes, like if it's a game, if it's a puzzle, some things, like some perfume. I've sold perfume. I've sold makeup that's got a barcode. That kind of stuff, I think, is going to be a lot easier for like the picture uploader to deal with, because it's going to know exactly what it is. Unique, one of a kind stuff, I think, is going to be very, very, very hard. You still need to do your research. But let's say I have 5 or 6 brooches or rings or bracelets. I'm trying to think of bookends, toys, plush. Again, I'm going to upload it. I'm going to see what it comes up with. And what I'm figuring is use it like a rough draft. Again, if it's a barcoded item, likely it'll go up and pretty much be a snap. The more unique, I don't think so. But again, even if I get a rough draft, so it's got the pictures up, it's giving me an interesting title. The item specifics perhaps are half filled in a description. At least I have a rough draft, and then I can go in and clean it up. So I'm interested to see that roll out. I think that could be a real time saver for everybody. We will see. But again, it's going to be new. Anytime something's new, the background remover tool, which I use and like, when they first start playing with it, and now you can use seascapes and all kinds of things, it's new. It's like, okay, I got to get used to this. But then once you get used to it, you can really knock things out. So clearly eBay's working to help us be able to list quicker. My encouragement to you as you're saying no to things is make sure it's quicker but accurate. A missing keyword, for instance, my friend whose item hadn't sold, with the title changed and the price dropped. And again, if it had dropped the price without the title change, would it have sold? I don't know, because we changed both. But the title change, what it did was it moved a big keyword to the front of the listing. Okay. And I think that's a good idea, right? Because remember, people read from left to right. So you always want the most important keywords at the front, because it's the way we read. Is as we're bulk listing, as we're uploading, as we're saying no to things and yes to other things, is don't lose accuracy. So it's always spot check the title, take a look at the pictures, because a lot of times you think that they're in focus and they're not. Look at your item specifics. I did that. I just was revising. I revise listings every morning. eBay has this habit. This is in clothing where I think it's in character, if I remember correctly, and it was using stuff that was wrong, and I don't even know where they got the stuff from. But it was wrong. So taking that out, putting in the one that was correct. with themes, there were a couple of themes that I could use. Because again, there's a theme called holiday and Christmas. And I'm going through if the top is red, of course it's a Christmas top. So, drop down in theme or features, adding that. But don't lose accuracy. And don't feel that you have to do everything every day. And the last thing I want to leave you with, and then I got a tip sheet for you, is if you're a part-time seller, it's great to be watching videos from people that are full-time sellers and getting tips from full-time sellers, but realize they're full-time sellers. Realize it was somebody like my dear friend Linda, who doesn't do videos because she's too busy selling, is if somebody's got a couple thousand listings up, they're either the fastest lister under the sun, but most likely they have help. Okay, most likely they've got somebody that's helping them with pictures, helping them with listings. Good friend of mine that sells a lot of sneakers. I think they've got between 1,000 and 2,000 listings up. Their partner does all the listings. They do videos, they do social, they do the sourcing. But the partner does all the listings. So yes, they don't have an employee, but they've got a partner that's working full-time on eBay, right? When I go into peak season, my husband is super, super, super helpful. He does a lot of the shipping. Yay, right? If you've got a partner or a friend, a neighbor, you can get pulled in to help you with your eBay, particularly with your busy seasons, do it. But and again, so if I'm a part-time seller that has like 2 hours a day to work on eBay and nobody's helping me, it's just me. So I'm doing the sourcing, I'm doing the shipping, and I have a job, and perhaps there's kids, right? Or I'm going to school. Don't compare yourself to somebody who's got up 2,000 listings and has a family member that's helping them a lot. Or they have something like the sporting cards where literally you could just sort of scan them and list them. Okay. So compare yourself to somebody who has roughly the same amount of listings. Also compare to people that are in the same category. Something like unique collectibles that are vintage, that are unusual, are more research than something like an Anthropologie brand clothing item, okay? Or something that's barcoded. So you can look on the internet and see what's going on with it. Again, perfume, makeup's barcoded, puzzles are barcoded, a lot of things are barcoded, and you can get some very quick research that way. Hey, Debbie, I'm on my own. I plan my time out in blocks to cover all that needs to be done, and you got to do it. And then what's great is if something takes a little less time, like let's say I thought it would take 15 minutes of research, it only takes 10, right? Because maybe it's something I know, or I hit an article and it's like, bam, or I find a sold. It's exactly what I'm selling. I mean, exactly. So, and the person wrote a really good description and stuff, so I can grab it, tweak it a bit, and boom, I'm done. Then I've got that time for something else, for some more pictures or a few more social media shares to help bring traffic. And that's what I wanted to share with you is, yes, it takes time, but it is well worth doing. Hang on a second. Let me just, for some reason, this is acting up. It is well worth time while saying no to things to do some social media. And the reason for that is it drives traffic to your listings for free. It can be done quickly. It can be done easily. There's tools to use. And if you're interested in it, be sure to tune in with me next week, because I'm going to offer you guys something that's super, super helpful on this. And I'm going to sort of zero in more on holiday social media, but I wanted to start this week with what to say no to. But hop over to my website. I love to be selling, and grab top eBay holiday sales and social media tips. It's for people with and without an eBay store. And again, saying no. And again, it's not no forever, but it's no today, or no, not right now. I don't know about you. I have a desk that has like stuff all over it. But I'm one of those sort of, the shiny object, the magpie person, which is why I've learned for myself to say no and to not feel guilty about it. No. Somebody wants to have lunch with me? No, not today. But I'd love to have lunch with you Tuesday or Wednesday, because today is already mapped out and I need to do what I need to do. And of course, because this came up when I was taking care of my mom, if it's a medical thing where all of a sudden I need to go to the doctor with her, or I need to go to the hospital with her, of course. And then I just do a massive, rejiggering of my schedule. And for those of you that have personal medical issues or family medical issues, if you don't know my story, I started on eBay selling very part-time because of taking care of my mom. So I totally understand priorities, right? And my mom was my priority at the beginning. Now my family's still very much a priority. Thankfully, nothing serious as far as medical issues go. But if something does pop up, when my grandson was very, very young, my husband worked in the neighborhood, and not my husband, my son worked in the neighborhood. And my husband and I would babysit a lot, because he would have Jackson. My daughter-in-law was in grad school, And so, my son would call me and just say, oh, can you watch Jackson for a couple hours while I run to the theater? My husband and my son are both theatrical stagehands. And I said, of course. So Jackson would come over, and he was so cute. We would go to the park. I would get my shipping done. He'd go to the post office with me. And of course, he waves at all the postal workers. We'd go and get delicious hot chocolates. He would grab mailers. Let's see if I've got one. So while I was doing my mail, Jackson would have his mailer. So he would have his mailer and his Sharpies, and he would be drawing pictures. So that was his artwork, was drawing on my mailers. So I'm very experienced with, dealing with all of a sudden schedules change. But in saying yes to wonderful time with my grandson, I also said no to not getting done what I needed to get done. So the mail did go out. I got a few less listings up, but I still got listings up. I learned how to include my grandson in what I needed to get done, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. But do say no. No to comparing yourself to other people. No to feeling that you have to do everything every day. No to, if you set a quota, like you want to get a certain amount of listings up, and let's say you can't hit that number, it's okay what you can get done. It's okay what you can get done. So say no to beating yourself up. And sometimes with those quotas, because it could be imposed by somebody else, oh, you have to be doing this, you have to be doing that. No, you don't. You do what works for you, for your lifestyle, for your time, for your energy, and also for what you're selling. Different things take different amounts of time. But anyway, grab my top eBay holiday sales and social media tips. You'll love it. It's super helpful. And again, it also focuses on saying yes and saying no. Hi, Melissa. Oh, I got to tell you, Jackson's so much fun. And Scarlett likes to dance. So my granddaughter, so when she's here and we're enjoying ourselves, and I'm also getting my listings done, and I'm also getting my mail out with her. She likes to put music on, and she likes to dance in my office while I'm packing sales. But you know what you learn is, so I have a dancing granddaughter while I'm packing sales. I think this is great, right? The whole point in my mind, the reason I started selling on eBay was it was a business that embraced my family life, okay? And that I can include my family, and I could flex my hours. And that's why I did it, and that's why I still do it. And I enjoy it so much. Melissa, thank you for joining me live, and Debbie. Anyway, everybody grab the top eBay sales and social media tips. You'll love, love, love them. And remember, learn to say no. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay.